Room 404. On a cold, stormy night, Sammy decided to spend his vacation in an old hotel, far from the city's noise. The place was quiet, almost too quiet, and carried an unsettling air. At the reception desk, the clerk handed Sammy his key and said, in a low voice, "Your room is 403, and please, stay away from room 404. Sammy chuckled nervously, thinking it was some kind of local myth meant to spook tourists. But the curiosity began to eat at him. Why mention it at all? What's the story behind room 404? Later that night, as Sammy settled in, he was jolted awake by a faint sound in the hallway. Slow, heavy footsteps. He brushed it off as another guest, but the sound lingered, growing louder. He got up, opened the door slightly, and peeked outside. The hallway was empty, except for one thing. The door to room 404 was ajar, just enough to reveal darkness inside, as though it was inviting him in. His heart raced as he stepped closer. Pushing the door open, he was met with silence and pitch black. Just as he was about to leave, a faint light flickered in the far corner. Sitting in the dim glow was an old chair. On it sat a man, pale, his expression lifeless, and his eyes hollow. The man tilted his head slightly and spoke in a chilling voice. "Didn't they warn you not to enter?" Sammy froze, unable to speak. In an instant, the man's face twisted, his features melting into a horrifying, shadowy figure. It let out a deafening scream that rattled the walls of the room. Sammy stumbled back, bolted from the room, and sprinted down the hallway. Back in his room, he locked the door, his hands trembling. When he looked down at the key in his hand, it had turned to ash. The next morning, shaken but determined to leave, Sammy told the receptionist about what had happened. The clerk's face went pale as he whispered, "Room 404. That's impossible. That room has been sealed off for years. No one's been inside." To this day, Sammy can still hear that scream echoing in his mind. Have you ever come across a room you were told to avoid? Remember, some doors are better left unopened.